Hello and welcome back to Focus Atlanta. Thanks so much for continuing to watch. We're going to close out the show speaking with our ladies. I know, perimenopause, menopause, it all seems so frightening and daunting. But what if we kind of changed how we thought about it? I'm here with Carrie Mingus.
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. I've got to say, the night sweats, the hot flashes, it's kind of difficult to put this a positive spin on this for a lot of ladies. Tell me
Yeah.
what you're telling the women that you advocate for.
Yes, it is. And what I'm advocating for, more recognition, bringing it out of the shadows of shame and silence, is not to diminish the symptoms. And those are for sure very real. And in fact, I think by bringing menopause into more recognition, we can get more research, more funding, and more answers to these side effects we're experiencing.
Okay, and as you're, working in this realm, you want to be a catalyst for more um, positive, I guess, outlooks when it comes to running into this phase of life, right? It doesn't have to be doomsday. You're saying, no, no, no. You can grab hold of this in a totally different way.
So, right now there's kind of this idea that's going around that menopause is puberty in reverse. And I heard that and I thought, oh, menopause is not a reversal of anything. We're not unbecoming a woman. It's a rite of passage, is how I see it, from adulthood, where we're responsible for family and career and outward obligations, to elderhood, where we become sovereign, where we get to choose our identities and our roles, where we step into this place of authority and respect and wisdom.
Okay. And a lot of times, what we feel, to your point, is that it's kind of a diminishing of our women, of our womanhood, right? A disappearance of all the things that are great about being a woman. And you're saying, no, no, that's exactly the opposite way that we should be thinking about this transition.
Right. I mean, every culture decides which transitions it finds meaningful, and for those, it offers them ceremony and ritual and recognition, right? Think of graduations, retirements, anniversaries, and here's menopause, this significant transition, and we have chosen, and it's been a cultural choice, to keep it silent. And I think it's time for us to change that because once it becomes meaningful, everything else follows. And now we can talk about it at the dinner table. We can get support at the office and especially in the doctor's office.
Especially there. What is a pause day ceremony?
Yes. So in my TEDx, I introduced an idea to bring recognition to menopause. And that idea I called Pause Day, A for menopause, B for taking a pause, an opportunity to reflect, to reassess, and determine which identities and roles that I have been playing so far do I wish to carry forward into my life. And that day I decided could be on menopause, which is that true day that we haven't had a period for 1 year. But it doesn't have to be exactly that. All women don't have access to that information. It's that idea of taking a moment to celebrate and ideally have that be witnessed by others. Because it's the witnessing that teaches the culture that no, we are making a shift here.
Thanks so much for coming on the show and sharing this information. I feel like the way we phrase or the way we enter into certain parts of our life really make a difference on how we handle it. So I appreciate your time.
Absolutely. I am so glad to be here. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. All right, ladies, menopause does not have to be the end of everything. It could be the beginning of something new. It's a beginning of a different phase of life. We can spin that. We can change the trajectory about how we feel about that, how we look at that, and maybe even change the way how we feel about it. Thanks, guys, for tuning in to this week's episode of Focus Atlanta. I hope to see you next week here on CBS Atlanta.